Alrighty. Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, classic, non-classic. This episode number, it is, I kind of forgot basically what, excuse me about this. It is episode 1818 and Doubleshot number 1713. I have two DC trades. One is basically collecting a mini-series, the other is the start of a very brief ongoing series, which caused confusion when it came out. Well, no, after it came out. First up, it is The Fall and Rise of Captain Atom. Now, I have reviewed other stuff of Captain Atom, and you're thinking, what did you previously reviewed? Well, technically, this is the third book I've ever reviewed for Captain Atom. Because the thing is, there isn't that much stuff for him. No, seriously, there's like virtually almost nothing. Like, my gosh. I mean, I've talked about him in a comic corner and like one comic history. Yes. I talked about basically him 7 years ago when I was in my old house. Yep. Yeah, that was basically, look at the picture right now, like, wow, I look so drastically different back then. Basically, it's probably with me in December. Because the hat I'm looking at. Yeah, where I reviewed pretty much the entire second volume for the series. And I've also technically reviewed Captain Atom for uh, the Suicide Squad trade. Yeah, and that's basically been it for Captain Atom stuff. But here, it's kind of a rebirth of Captain Atom mostly, coming out during the time period of Rebirth. Yep, basically we read Captain Atom for the Fold, first time since his appearance in the Fear of Firestorm book. Yeah, that was his previous appearance. Part of this was actually in Firestorm. And basically, they kind of integrate stuff from his previous ongoing series with a little bit of stuff from the classic book. Which, by the way, this is actually the people who did the first ongoing series for DC for Captain, which is basically Greg Weisman, Carrie Bates. Greg Weisman, like, that name sounds very familiar. As the guy behind shows like Young Justice, Gargoyles, Star Wars Rebels. Carrie Bates, a guy who's not really read much for right now. He wrote a lot of Flash comics. Yeah, back in the 80s. But technically, you might think, oh, these guys great Captain? Not really, no. Captain is a Steve Ditko character. But pretty much they're the ones who created the rebooted version of the character, the one people are a lot more familiar with than the Steve Ditko one. Yes, Ditko created Captain Atom, but Carrie Bates and Greg Weisman are the guys behind it. Now, the story of this one is that we kind of mention stuff related to the previous book, and like we had kind of you think does it look like this old book? Well, not really. No, for some reason he puts on the colors a major force for some reason. I have no idea why. And they have Jared Wade Island helping this book, which yes, the guy associated with Captain Atom. The problem with the book is when it comes to Jared Wade Island is that he's black. I'm like, couldn't they bring in the actual Wade Island, the one people are familiar with, not this black old man? Like, this, in my opinion, was stupid. Like, I have no problem with Wade Island. He's common social with Captain Atom. He's basically his superior officer. But why the heck is he still black? I mean, heck, they fixed this with Wally West. Why can't they fix it with General Wade Island? And they just like are watching this, and like the whole thing is basically trying to build Cat Howe's reputation. Now, you're probably thinking, does this miniseries lead to anything? The answer is no. It just basically Cat Howe miniseries. I give this book a give it a 9 out of 10. It's a very interesting miniseries. Yes, it is kind of a sort of a semi-rebirth of the character, but man, they just don't do anything with Captain Meta. Yeah, it seems as though like right after this miniseries wraps up. Can you believe this came out 5 years ago? By the way, maybe this miniseries, Ultramax. Yeah, he pops up for like 2 issues, the 3 issues of the miniseries, and well, yeah, Oh, the book is 6 issues, and you're thinking, okay, did Cap Venom himself pop up in their book after this? No, not really. Not that I can think of, no. So basically, after this book wrapped up, and he also, of course, let's say, popped up in the pages of Fear of Fire for a couple issues. He's also popped up in some issues of the recent one for Justice League. Popped up for Legion Lost. I'm not sure why the heck he popped up in this book for, but he did. Yeah, I'm like, okay, so probably just a flash. I think an issue of Superman. Yes, issue of Superman. But I think like his most recent appearance to date was actually in Human Target. Yep, the Human Target. Now the weird thing is they don't really well. It's just a cameo in issue 1 and in issue 3. Just a picture. But you want to think what's his most recent appearance to date? Was probably Dark Knight, Dark Metal. But he really has not much of anything at all. Like, what was the purpose of reading this book if we rebirth the character we don't do anything with him since then? Not part of Justice League? Nothing. Alright, next book is a book that sprung out of Dark Knight's Metal. We have Damage. Volume 1, Out of Control. This collects for 6 out of 14 issues for this ongoing series. We look at this character like, wait, is that Weapon H from Marvel? No, this is Damage. That's Weapon H. It's Damage. You see the confusion here? The biggest problem in this book, and I mentioned this when I want to talk about Weapon H, that this book, with the exception of one issue of this entire run, and of course one issue of Weapon H, where they released this book the same week as Weapon H. And you have very similar stories. You have Damage. Okay, what things does Damage have in common with Weapon H? He's a volunteer for a military experiment. He's military. And is he a family man? Not necessarily. He also encounters various characters who are basically DC's equivalent. You have Damage like Beyond Control. And by the way, also, Tony S. Daniel is the artist of this book, but he leaves after only 3 issues. Yes, for some reason, I have no idea why the world this is. And by the way, this is the second volume for Damage. And you're thinking, really? Yeah, it is. There was a previous volume, Volume 1, that featured a different Damage, who was not this Hulk character. Yeah, this one is, the original one is basically Atom Smasher. Grant Emerson. And this guy only recently appeared in Doomsday Clock. Yeah, but this book lasted for like a year, and it was like 16, I think it was 14 issues. Nope, it was 16 plus an annual. Yes, an annual. Now, this book is basically mostly about Robert Diddy and Tony S. Daniel. This is, yeah, you can say Robert Diddy book. Now, here's the thing. For some strange reason, they decided to have it where in issue 4, they changed the artist. And all the book, except for Hawkman, had this problem where we introduced these creative team first issue, and then 2 issues later, Tony S. Daniel was gone. It could be the timing issues, but here's who he, and of course, he encounters various people from DC University's issues. At the end of the first issue, about various people he gets to encounter with, well, not this one here. First, he gets encounter with the Suicide Squad, aka Task Force XL, made up of the Parasite, Solomon Grundy, Deadshot, Harley Quinn, and some other guy. You think what? Task Force XL? What the heck? Yeah. The other guy is Arkendo, which this book was his first appearance. He appeared just for the first 3 issues, and that was it. No, seriously, that was it for the character. We also have this woman called Maria Jonas, who first appeared in the issue Batman the Merciless. Basically, she's kind of this book's version of Waller. That's really the whole purpose of her. And it's weird though, like she becomes a regular character in this book right after issue 1. Yep. And then like, aside from encountering the Suicide Squad, and that's just in the first issue, you also encounter, oh yeah, also Gigantus here as well. Yes. And like, okay, you got more damage in the first story arc here, and oh yeah, here's him fighting the Parasite. Yes, the Parasite. By the way, this is not Rudy Jones. He was the Parasite prior to Flashpoint. This is actually the third Parasite. Yes, the third one. Yeah, the third Parasite. Joshua Matthew Allen. Yeah, and he is a rebooted version of the character who, like, here's the weird thing about this guy. Like, here's the thing. Like, prior to this book, he was featured in New Suicide Squad. But here's the thing. I think actually, scratch it. He was actually, well, he was also featured in an issue of Batman Superman. Yep. I mean, I think the last time I remember seeing him prior to this series came out, I think it was when he popped up in Superman Wonder Woman, trying to stop Superman. And then at the end of the second issue, he gets to fight with Wonder Woman. Yes, Wonder Woman. Just cause. Yeah, fights him in the very next issue. Some beautiful Amazon warrior. And this artwork is so gorgeous. This is what I can tell by Conrad Nord, excuse me. And then after, like, issue 3, at the end of the issue, like, we have a guest appearance by Batman. And, of course, for the next issue, he encounters Poison Ivy, who, for some reason, I'm not sure why, at first they had her green skin, and they had her pink skin afterwards. For, like, no reason in the book. And there she is, Poison Ivy, drawn by Corey Nord. Beautifully drawn. Love it. By the way, Damage's real name is Ethan Avery. Yes. The difference between this general and the one that appears in the pages of Weapon H, at least that one was at least the character who was part of a program, an actual program in Marvel Comics. Yeah, this book was simply cashing in on what Marvel was doing at the time. Yep, which was Weapon X. And you're probably thinking, okay, like in the pages of Weapon H, he had an encounter with Man-Thing. Anybody thinking, okay, does Damage encounter Swamp Thing? You want to answer that question? Well, he also encounters Gorilla Grodd. For some reason. And yes, he does encounter Swamp Thing. By the way, this issue was released the same week that Weapon H fought Man-Thing. That is not a joke. For some reason, DC and Marvel decided to do that for some strange reason. But it is a good book, definitely, and I do recommend it. I got one more trailer to go for this one, and that's it for this book. But this book is really good. I love this book. Excuse me. If I had a chance to talk to Tony Anastasio, I'm going to ask him. I wasn't going to ask him this, like, because he was actually at Comic-Con. Just, I missed him. Yeah, I got there late, so he was not at his table. Was not happy with that at all. Yes, I was going to have him sign Batman R.I.P. and the first trade for his run for Deathstroke. Yeah, one thing I was going to ask him there, why did he leave Damage for? That's actually really the question. Why did he leave Damage? I have no idea. It's just kind of weird. Like, I mean, that was the biggest problem with Damage was that people think that he was like different characters. Like, some people thought he was Weapon H, and people thought Weapon H was, well, oh, by the way, the whole thing with Wonder Woman holding a guy up like this, yeah, that's actually something she's done to Doomsday once. Yeah. But yeah, not much else to say about the two trades. The Damage trade was definitely good, except the biggest problem with the book, and this is not the fault of the creative team. They're not at fault of this. Was when DC decided to release this book the same week as Weapon H, and that caused so much confusion. And this book managed to last long to Weapon H. Weapon H lasted for 12 issues. This lasted for 16 issues. 16. Yeah, 16 issues for the book. And I think they produced like one more trade after this one, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was like 2 trades, and like that was it. Yeah, it was this book here. I think the next book contains like the last like 10 issues plus the annual. Yeah. But I love Damage. I think it's actually a really good book. Do I think basically the DC should keep this book going despite Weapon H? Yes. I think that what they should have done with the character is just basically keep the book going. Just don't release in the same week as Weapon H. Yeah. That's simply put basically how I would do it. Is not release him. Yeah, he's supposed to be also DC's take on the Hulk. Yes. And if you're curious though, did he pop up any other book after this book got canceled? Well, he popped up in the Titan special, Generation Shattered, and issue Suicide Squad, and that is it. His first appearance was Dark Days the Casting, a one-shot. Yes, which led into the events of Dark Knight's Metal. Which, by the way, really good. Love it. It was fantastic. Yeah, really damn good book. Yep. But not much else to say about these two trades. They're both really good. Except the Cap haven't really anything. Damage basically was a good series. It got canceled too soon. Yep. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for Stick Review. Next one's going to be... Now, tomorrow, it's going to be it because it's getting kind of late. And, well, I'm just doing another video. I'm getting kind of tired, so I'm just going to do it tomorrow. I do basically 2 comic horrors tomorrow. I have 2 digital ones to do. Plus another Super Sentai review. And hopefully I get a chance to start up, well, a series basically I've been itching to talk about for a little while. Okay? Next video. Bye.